Lady from Nevada, Representative Dina Titus, for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman and Mr. Secretary, for being here. I'd like to go back to a point made by Mr. Conley on the Doha agreement. I wonder if you would discuss for us what impact you think that agreement may have had on the morale of the Afghan Defense Forces and on the unity of the Afghan government.
Well, that agreement committed the United States to leave Afghanistan by May 1st of this year. And so that certainly factored into the thinking and concerns of the Afghan government and of the Afghan security forces. The extent of that impact, hard to know for sure, but certainly that had to factor into their thinking and as well as into their concerns.
I believe so, and that led to that perhaps quicker than realized collapse that occurred that we didn't anticipate. I get just a couple of other questions. We've been hearing about domestic and foreign journalists being abused by the Taliban, and also some of the NGO or healthcare workers or just non-government humanitarian workers. I wonder if there's anything going on, any talks between the U.S. and any of our international partners of how to defend them to be sure that they are able to continue their work once we're gone?
Yes, very much so. Two things. One, we've been working very hard to make sure that basic humanitarian assistance can still get into Afghanistan, working with and through NGOs, working with and through the United Nations agencies, and also putting in place mechanisms to make sure that that assistance is used in the way we intend it to be used, that is to the benefit of the Afghan people, the recipients, not the Taliban-led government. Second, we've been working full-time around the world to bring country after country on board with the expectations that we're setting of the conduct of a Taliban-led government, to include upholding the basic rights of the Afghan people, to include women and minorities. And we have put in place a UN Security Council resolution setting those clear expectations. More than 100 countries around the world, led by our efforts, have signed on to that. And to the extent the Taliban is looking for any kind of legitimacy or any kind of support from the international community, that will not be forthcoming in any fashion if it's not making good on those basic expectations and on commitments it itself has made. So going forward, its conduct will define its relationship with the rest of the world.
Thank you. They seek to be legitimate, I know, but in the meantime, that one of the challenges they're facing, of course, is the economy, and that's not new. That existed under the Ghani government. But we see Pakistan and China rapidly positioning themselves to kind of take advantage of this destabilized economy. I wonder how that's going to impact the U.S. and U.S. international relations, especially in light of the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund freezing distributions of funds to Afghanistan. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, you're certainly right to point to that. And the fact of the matter is, though, that there is a Security Council resolution that should also bind Russia and China in their conduct going forward. The international community over the last years was providing every year about 75% of the Afghan government's budget. Needless to say, that's been frozen. Virtually all of Afghanistan's foreign reserves are here in the United States. They are frozen. International financial institutions are not going forward with their own assistance or the ability for Afghanistan to engage in international financial transactions. And so all of that is on the ledger when it comes to what we can do to have the Taliban meet the expectations that have been set by the international community when it comes to how it conducts itself.
Well, thank you, Mr. Secretary. Now yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. I now recognize